go to a pretty small school. Our high school has around 300 students, and that includes our junior high. And because of this, we don't get a lot of school funding. Our internet is terrible, and our equipment for school breaks all the time. Unfortunately, my school isn't the only school with this problem. Bigger schools have the same problems because the government does not provide enough funding for schools. School districts often depend on donations from the community in order to supplement the little amount of funding that they receive from the government. So, I think that the government should provide more funding for schools so that students can have more learning opportunities, they can have better materials for their classrooms, and our teachers can be paid more as well. So let's talk about some of those opportunities. More funding would allow for school districts to hire more teachers, which would provide a number of opportunities for students. First of all, more classes could be offered, and a wider variety of classes as well. Teachers would be able to have fewer subjects per each teacher, and there would also be a wider variety of elective classes and such. This would allow for students to have a more customizable education, which would help benefit their future, as they could take classes that would benefit their future career. It would also allow for schools to offer more advanced classes such as AP, as well as dual placement and honors classes. It would also help lower the student-to-teacher ratio. Studies show that classrooms with fewer students per teacher have students that are more likely to succeed and perform better on tests and have better comprehension. More funding would also provide schools with better classroom materials. According to a survey by Scholastic, 74% of teachers have to buy their own classroom materials. In fact, some teachers spend as much as $700 on classroom materials, such as notebooks and pencils for their students. I think that that's a little bit unfair considering how little they're paid already. However, funding could also be used to buy things such as new textbooks or textbook repairs. Another survey said that 16% of teachers say that they don't have enough textbooks to teach their classes. And 25% of teachers said that their textbooks are 10 years or older. Now, having old textbooks isn't necessarily a problem. After all, the curriculum doesn't really change that much, and the information doesn't change that much. However, 10 years is a long time for students to be throwing textbooks in lockers, in backpacks, and other such places. And I mean throwing. Students do not take care of their textbooks, and because of that, they tend to gather a lot of wear and tear. And I'm pretty sure that the textbooks at our school are at least 50% tape. Textbook repairs would be greatly appreciated. A lot of classes also offer online components as part of the homework. And some students can't necessarily afford laptops or tablets in order to complete those online components. Schools could use funding in order to help provide laptops or tablets to help those students. Of course, those students could go to libraries, but if your town is anything like mine, the closest library is at least a town over. So let's talk about how more funding could help teachers. Teachers are the people that literally shape our nation by educating our students. However, they are paid less than the average American. That doesn't seem right at all, does it? The only way for a teacher to get a fair pay is for them to leave the classroom and become a member of the school administration. That leaves the students with teachers that are either inexperienced or inadequate. This happened a couple of years ago when one of our best teachers left for another school district school administration, and the students were left with a teacher who didn't actually know what he was teaching. There is now an entire year of students at our school that has no idea about biology, and I think that's a little sad. But that's just how it is, but more funding could change that. Unfortunately, governments probably aren't going to be giving schools the funding they need anytime soon. So, what can we do about it? Well, the easiest thing to do is save your box tops. That's 10 cents per each box top, and though it may not seem like a lot, it adds up. So whenever you have food or other products that have box tops on them, just cut them out and save them. And when you have a small bag full, just drop them off at your nearest school. Another thing you can do is volunteer some of your time. Teachers, especially elementary teachers, could always use another set of hands around the classroom. Even if it's just to stuff folders or to grade papers, it's greatly appreciated. Or you can participate in school fundraisers. So the next time a little kid comes and knocks on your door and asks if you want to buy some cookie dough, say, sure, I'll buy a box. Because now you've given the school money and you get a box of cookies. It's a win-win. Or if fundraisers really aren't for you, then you can just donate directly to the school district. As you can see, schools desperately need more funding. It would allow schools to provide more opportunities and classes for their students. It would also allow for teachers to have more classroom materials and not spend their own money on it. It would also allow teachers to be provided a fair pay, which would be greatly appreciated. Unfortunately, schools likely won't be receiving this money from the government anytime soon. So you should do your part to help the future of our nation. And save your box tops, or make a donation. Thank you.